Vikrant, welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Hey, John, thank you so much for having me here. I'm
Yeah,
also excited
absolutely.
to talk to you and have a conversation about today. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I am too. I This is something that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse to where, normally like if we're talking about like marketing or we're talking about, even like niching down into photography for all the photographer listeners, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is definitely something I can speak to a lot, and right now I'm like I am in the boat with a lot of the listeners. So I'm like, okay, cool, Vikrant. I'm just going to be taking notes as well and just kind of picking your brain today. But yeah, well, thanks for being here, and just give us a little background info about you and where you're based, what you do, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, so I'm right now in India. The company's in States. So the company I run is called Authors on Mission, where we work with entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, business executives, and we help them turn their book ideas into number one best-selling book, all done for you service. And we have been in the business for over a decade now and have worked with more than thousands of clients and help them with their book. So this is a little bit background about us and what we do.
Okay, that's cool. How did you get into that? And like, I mean, that's awesome that you've been doing this for over a decade now and working with so many different authors. How did you get into this? Are you an author as well, or like, were you an author at that time and moved into helping other authors get best-selling status?
Yeah. So long story short, I'm a college dropout. I dropped out of the college, I think 12 years ago, and then I was searching for making money. Like my first venture failed after coming out of the college, and I had no money left. I had bills to pay, so I was searching online how to make money online, and then I discovered self-publishing. So I wrote my first book in I think around 21 days, and
Wow.
so this I wrote that book, um, and then I saw some results. Like I started making some money from that, from the book's royalties. So this is where actually it started. When I started posting about the book and the book covers on my Facebook profile, there were some entrepreneurs friends in my circle. Like they started reaching out to me, hey, how did you do it? Initially I helped them for free, some of them, and then I
Mm,
also added a coaching fees in that. So it was kind of a very, very smooth transition from writing a book for myself, then helping other for free, then adding a coaching fees. Then I also launched a lot of courses, like I helped thousands of people become published author. But there a lot of people were there like who um, were stuck. They had no, either they didn't have the time or they have no skill set to write the book themselves. So
yeah.
they start reaching out to me like, hey, can you help me do this? Can you help me write the book, design the book? We don't have the time, we don't have the skill set. So I saw this as a opportunity. I did some research. I saw that the market is big. There's um, a survey from Forbes that 81% of Americans wants to become an author. They want to write a book. Out of
Wow.
81% Americans, only 1% of them actually start writing a book. And 1% of those 1% actually
Uh-huh.
finally able to write a book. So it's kind of a very, very,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
so,
So few of people actually like do the thing that they want to do and then follow through with it and finish the book and all that, which I know you kind of mentioned this earlier about just, like your friends and the other entrepreneurs that saw that you wrote a book and published it and all that, and they were like, I don't have the time or I don't have the skill set, because that's where I am, where I'm like, if I were to write a book, I don't know, one, the time that I would take, because in my mind when I think about writing a book, I think about like going off to a cabin in the woods, because that's what I see in the movies, and just like staying out there for 5 weeks and just writing day and night and crumbling up pieces of paper and throwing them against the wall because it's not what I need to write down, and like all the stuff that you see in movies regularly. And like the fact that you wrote it in like 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, that's really cool. And like, I don't know, it's just hard for my mind to wrap around that. So I'm excited to get further into that. But yeah, I love those statistics of 81% of people want to be authors,
Yeah.
or in America, and that's insane. I didn't realize it was that high. Uh, but that's cool. So then you started getting into helping others, coaching others, getting them published, and all that.
Yeah, so initially it was the coaching thing, and then I realized that uh, if I really want to scale this up, then I should go into the service business and
Mm.
help like high level executives, coaches, consultants with their book and their publishing journey. So now, like we offer all kind of services that you can think of in the book writing, publishing, marketing services, including audiobook, podcast booking service for authors. So everything that you can imagine, like getting sales reviews, number one Amazon bestseller, number like Wall Street Journal bestseller. Like we offer all kind of different services so that the client or anyone like who wants to really discover this avenue, like they don't have to go anywhere else. Like they can find everything over here in just one roof.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, because then it's just like, okay, well, I can just let you handle all of these things. I don't have to be like, okay, now I know how to, get this published, but I still have to figure out all of these other issues, and trying to get that best-selling status, because that is always a nice little sticker to put on your book cover. And yeah, that's really cool. So there's something that I like to ask a lot of my guests, because I'm just curious about this, and it always seems to be something that I can take away and just like implement into my work and my life. Over your career, just like over life, has there been either a lesson or a piece of advice or something that has changed the way that you look at business or just life in general?
Yeah, so I think one of the advice that I really want to give to people like who are struggling is embrace failure as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Hmm.
Honestly speaking, like I have failed countless times, right? And I have lost a lot of money. Even still, like I struggle a lot. Sometimes, like with different things. Sometimes with building the team, managing the team. Sometimes with the client. Sometimes with like with the new technology that is coming in the market. Exactly how to adapt with that. So there are
Yeah.
failures, like if you are going into the entrepreneurship or this journey, like it's going to be roller coaster. Sometimes you'll see like, hey, I've won everything, like this is really really great, and honestly speaking, most of the time you'll see that, hey, it is crazy, like why I'm doing this. But if you will just see this, if you just simply shift your perspective, like don't see these failures as just a failure. It see them as learning, like this is just one more thing that didn't work out for me, then it would
Hmm.
become very easy. And you should really work kind of like a scientist, that hey, I'm going to try 10 different things and I'll see exactly what is going to be working, what's not going to be working. Maybe out of 10, like maybe one or two things will work, maybe all of these 10 things will not work, so you have to figure out 10 more things and
Right.
try more. So so always embrace failure to grow, like to see that, like, and always see that as an opportunity. um this is going to take you, like if you'll just really understand this, then it's going to take you to the next level. Like it would be very very easy for you to go through the through all the challenges, all the mental dilemma like that goes every day and night. It,
Yes.
it becomes easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just that mindset really frees you from just that feeling of failure, of
Yeah.
just like, well, now I don't have the drive to go out there and do anything else because I have failed at this one thing that I put my mind toward. And yeah, I love that analogy of like a scientist, of having, you've got these 10 different things, and one of them might work. And if it doesn't, you've got a whole nother set. Like I think of, scientists that go, or like even oh, who was it? Albert Einstein who developed the light
Bulb.
bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like 10,000 different things thrown in that glass bulb, and like maybe this is gonna
Edison.
work.
Yeah.
Nope, Edison. That's it. Yes, um, and yeah, it's it's gonna take you lots of times of not getting it right,
Yeah.
for most people, until you do find the thing that works. And yeah, and reframing that from this was a failure to this is something that I can learn from and then build toward in my next journey is life changing. So I love that. That's so good. Okay, so speaking of, like, maybe like book ideas. Like, you got 10 book ideas and you're like, I don't even know what's going to do well. How does someone get started in writing their first book, especially if they're, have that mindset like I do, where I'm just like, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources or the skill in order to do this. How do you even get started?
In this podcast, I want to disclose that like I closely work with hundreds and hundreds of authors every single day, and I'm actively involved in the publishing industry. In last 6 months, everything has changed
Mm.
after Chat GPT, right?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
it like and especially the new model that came like Chat GPT 4.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried it, and you won't believe it, but uh, Chat GPT 4 is kind of a modern day ghostwriter, right?
Okay, yeah.
Where it can write a really really good book, very high quality good, a very high quality book with 10 times less time, with 10 times,
Mm.
actually 100 times less effort. It can do the research on your behalf. It can do all kind of citation. It can do write like write the titles, subtitles, descriptions, book outline, create the entire book for you. It can understand exactly what kind of voice or style you have, your personality, and write the book based on that.
Hmm.
So this is what we have been doing, like, and that's kind of adaptation like we are also trying to make in our business. We have right now two packages. Initially 6 months ago, we just had one package which was done for you, best-selling book package, where we used to connect our clients with a ghostwriter, and they used to interview them, and then they used to select exactly who's going to be the ghostwriter they want to work with. And once they start working with them, the ghostwriter used to interview them, and then based on that, they used to write the entire book. And usually the process is around 3 to 4 months, right?
Right.
Because based like depending on exactly like how frequent the client is available for the interviews. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's also this revision thing going on, like we offer unlimited revision. So it's a 3 to 4 months just for the book writing, and three to
Okay.
four months for all the other steps like editing, proofreading, designing, publishing, marketing, all kind of thing. Now we offer one more service which is done with you Amazon best-selling book package, where um, we have a proper step-by-step training and support on how you can use Chat GPT 4 to write a really good book, actually better than a ghostwriter, um, in less than a week.
Wow.
And also the book's quality is going to be extremely high. Like you won't believe it exactly how Chat GPT 4 understands you. You just have to understand what kind of prompt, what kind of questions you have to ask them, and then it's going to produce the entire book for you. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a proper training for that. And once the book is written, then of course we take care of all the other steps. This also is 3 times less expensive than the done for you package, because in that we had to pay premium price for the ghostwriter.
Right.
um, so now there are no excuses at all. Like in 6 months ago, like when people used to ask me like, hey, how should I write a book, I used to add like 10 different steps that, hey, you first of all do this, do this, do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now things have changed a lot. Like you just have to use Chat GPT 4. You just have to understand how GPT 4 works and what kind of prompt it's going to ask. It is a 21st century highly qualified, very, very smart ghostwriter
Yeah.
that has 100 times more experience than any ghostwriter in the world you would be working with. Like even if you're paying $100,000 with a ghostwriter, still it can produce way more high quality book. Like if you'll use a right kind of prompt with ChatGPT. So yeah, things have changed a lot in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the new AI that has been coming out this year and has been insane. And I know that it's like because ChatGPT came out what last year, 2022.
November. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and then ChatGPT 4 is now the most recent update, and they're just, I mean, probably by the end of the year we'll have ChatGPT 5 or whatever, or like the next iteration of this, which is just getting, um, it's getting crazier and crazier the way uh, of what it can actually do, and that's really cool. And for those who don't know maybe what a ghostwriter is, that is like traditionally in the past without AI would be another person who is writing on your behalf, who like kind of interviews you, gets your ideas, and then writes it for you. Is that correct?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And just because it's a ghostwriter, uh, it would be your name on the book. You own the entire
Hmm.
copyright. They they don't claim any kind of royalty, any kind of ownership in the book. Like you own everything of the book. That's what
Okay.
ghostwriter job is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Being that ghost. Nobody sees them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is very cool. So with ChatGPT, and using that as a ghostwriter, are you um, suggesting more of like taking your ideas and turning those into prompts
Yeah.
to feed into chat gpt, and less of like, I can already hear some of the listeners being like, oh well, no, you're just asking ai to like write you a book, and just be like, write an entire book on such and such, and then it spits out something. But if you're like using
Mm,
your own ideas and like your outline and what you want to put down into you know 300 pages,
yeah.
that's a completely different idea. Is that how it
It's
works?
yeah, it's up to you. Like for example, if someone wants to use ChatGPT to create the entire book from scratch and they don't want to provide any information, this can do the job for you. But if you want to like that, the thing that I recommend is having your own voice, your own personality
Hmm.
in the book is extremely important. So, and how you can do that, like you can use certain prompt, and you can, for example, share. If you have any presentation, any kind of blogs or articles that you already have written, any kind of writing samples that you have, you can feed those information in ChatGPT so that it can understand you, your writing style, and exactly what kind of information, experience, expertise you have, and based on that, you can ask ChatGPT to create the entire book for you. Now, when it will write the book for you, you will feel that, hey, like, I think I have written this book. And so it's going to be very, very quick. Not 3 months, 4 months, 6 months using Ghostwriter.
Hmm.
If you want to write the book yourself without a Ghostwriter, without ChatGPT, it can take
It's
months, years, I don't know.
oh yeah, yeah,
But with ChatGPT, you can do that in less than a week. A
yeah.
really high quality book.
Yeah, I love that idea because there's so many of us that have blogs and have been
Yeah.
running a blog for, you know 7-10 years or more. I mean, blogs were huge 15 years ago, and you have all of that written in your voice in the way that you speak, and being able to feed that into ChatGPT to learn the way that you speak. So this book does still sound like you and is not just written in somebody else's voice. I think that
Actually,
is,
actually, one more thing that you can do is, for example,
yeah, yeah.
if you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a social media profile, if you have any video content, you can transcribe your videos and then again
Mm-hmm.
feed that information over there. Now it would be very, very natural, right? That you are just speaking, and the ChatGPT is going to understand your unique voice, your personality, and then write the book based on that.
Yeah, I mean, literally. writing in your voice, because I know for me I go much more professional, or at least I used to. I'm doing less of this now, but I used to go much more professional whenever I would start typing my words. I'm like, oh no, this needs to be prim and proper, and I can't be, throwing in all these like parentheses of my tangents going off. But no, that's very very cool. Like all that you can really feed into that, so that ChatGPT is learning who you are, to be able to take those ideas and then write everything in your voice, in your cadence. That's very cool. So for someone who's maybe listening and like that, Vikrant, that sounds amazing. Doing this in a week, that would be insane. But I don't have anything that I think people would want to read about. Um, do you have any suggestions for them to either just like kind of figure out what it is that is different about them that they could speak to in a book, or how to get some ideas like that?
I personally think that everybody has a story or a message to share, but at the same
Mm.
time, I also believe that not every story is worth sharing, right?
Mm, mm.
So, so both of
True.
so um, if you like, whenever we work with a client, like we always ask them their why, right? So we
Mm,
always work with these like four elements before we start working on their project. The first is the book idea, which is the first element. The second is why, exactly why you want to write a book. I'll come to it in a while. The third element is the readers, who's going to be reading the book, what kind of pain, problem, experience, or what they want to get from this book. And the fourth is the hook or the unique angle of the book. There could be hundreds, if not thousands, of books on the same topic.
yeah.
Why your book? So these four elements are extremely important. The second most important is the why. And you have to have a clear goal. If you just want to write a book just for the sake of writing a book, maybe you can do it like if you have some spare time. But if you have a very strong purpose, a strong desire that, hey, like I want to write a book, maybe to get more clients, establish my brand, and generate leads, get more speaking gigs, you should definitely do that, because using the book, you can, like, it can open a lot of doors, like it can open a lot of opportunities for you if you use it right. So
Hmm.
if someone is like still like, if they have a clear why but still they are on a fence that, hey, like why, like is someone gonna be listening to me, or is my book worth sharing? So again, this is just a mental block. So maybe what you can do is, now with the help of chat gpt, you can produce a book. It's just a week. If I would sit down today, I can produce a really really good book in less than 24 hours, right? Really good book with chat gpt. So just give it a try, like just write a book, maybe share it with your clients, your existing clients, for free.
Hmm.
Ask for the feedback, like, hey, does it really add value in your life or in your business? If it does, you should definitely launch it in the public. So now it becomes very easy. You don't have to wait for 3 months, 6 months for the book to be out. Like you can get a direct feedback from people you work with, and check whether, like, if you still have the doubt that whether I should really write a book, publish a book or not. There are also some people like who are reached out by a lot of guys, right? A lot of clients, a lot of people in their circle that, hey, you should write a book. You have a really good message. You have a really good story. You have a really good idea. So they should definitely write a book. So there's
Yeah.
just a mental block, but with the help of chat gpt, like there should be no excuse. Like you can write a book, share it with people around you in your influence, ask them, hey, does it really add value in your life? If yes, then you should
Hmm.
definitely launch the book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that mental block. I I can definitely see that, of because I feel like for me, like I look at these best-selling authors, I'm like, well, yeah, you've got millions of followers online. You have this huge presence where people know you, they know your story, they know
Yeah.
what you have to offer. So then whenever you do, it's like, oh, hey, I'm writing a book. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, everyone's going to buy it because they already know your story. They want to read it through the book. They know that you're, excellent at whatever it is that you're working on. And for someone with a smaller following, or maybe not something that people really know that you are passionate about or an expert in, um, I could see that mental barrier of, I am not them, I am not well known, so no one's going to buy my book, being a huge roadblock
Actually,
to actually getting out there.
yeah, actually, um, there are both of these different case studies. Like there are some case studies of like people like who have millions of followers and then they write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course people want to buy a book. There are also a lot like thousands and thousands of case studies of people like who became popular, who became famous and successful after writing and publishing their book. Like Tim Ferriss, right? The 4 Hour Work
Oh
Week,
yeah,
Rich
yeah.
Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. um I don't know if you like know this, like Brooke Castillo, like she wrote a book about weight loss. Now she has a multi-million dollar businesses. Like,
Uh huh.
um, so there are a lot of people like really, really great case studies out there in the market, like who people like who became famous after the book. We also got a lot of clients like who launched themselves as an international speaker after they had their book, and it was not their purpose, but once the book was there in the market, people started reaching out to them that, hey, like, can you speak on this stage?
Mm-hmm.
And they started getting TED Talk and a lot of clients, leads, depending on how you want to use the book. So they're both are different case studies. Like, even if you have less followers, even if you have no followers at all, but if you have a really, really good product, and if you really write the book for the end reader in such a
Mm-hmm.
way that they can go from point A to point B, it's going to be a hit. And if you have to also do the marketing as well along with that, so that people
Right.
uh, can be aware about your book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but if your product is a good quality product, it's going to sell itself once it's out there in front of the right people. And I love that you shared those case studies, because that is something like, of course, we see the people who have, hundreds of thousands or millions of followers who are like, oh, I'm going to write a book now, because you're already following them, and you're not already following the small creators, the small authors that don't have that huge following at first, and then they write the book, and then that comes in through after the book sales, because you didn't know them before. So that totally makes sense now that you shared that. So okay, awesome. Well, Vikrant, this has been great. I'm inspired. I'm gonna throw around some ideas, do some word dumps, and just like put stuff down on paper to think about possibly writing a book myself, especially with the help of ChatGPT to get this going in a week. But before we kind of wrap this up and can share where people can find you online and all that, there is a part of the show that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week, and it could be a new book, TV show, or whatever. It could be a new food that you're really loving. Is there something that you're loving this week, Vikrant?
Yeah, so my parents came from another city this week, and I took them to a mini vacation, like a holiday trip. It was on a
Yeah.
beach. So we did a lot of fun stuff like parasailing in jet ski. So yeah, like it was fun. We returned just 2 days ago, but
Oh,
still
nice.
we had captured a lot of great memories. So yeah, for me, like it would be having a really, really good time with my parents, with my family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. That's
What
really
about you?
cool. I don't know, kind of something similar this week. My parents also came into town. They're they live roughly 3 hours from here, so we see them somewhat regularly, every few months or so. But they came into town for my son. He's 8 years old and he's playing baseball right now. And they came into town and we went to one of his baseball games, and they won in like a a comeback underdog kind of at the last inning. They ended up scoring a few runs and ended up winning the game, and
Oh,
it was fun. And we went out to dinner afterwards. So it was really really great. This is his first year playing um, like a team sport like that. So it was a good evening, a fun time, and he loved having them there, and we were all just cheering, and it was a very intense games. Like the teams were very evenly skilled, so it was just back and forth, and everyone was hitting the ball, and it was great. It was a good time. So yeah, it was a good one.
awesome, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Well, cool. Okay. So, Vikrant, where can people find you? Where can they follow along? Where can they learn more about uh, the services that you'll have for helping writing?
Yeah, so if whoever is interested, if they can visit authorsonmission.com. On the homepage itself, like we have hundreds of testimonials and case studies of our clients, like how they have gone through our services and became successful using their book. So yeah, if you find that this is right fit, simply they can schedule a call with us. One of our author strategists is gonna discuss with them, check whether this is a right fit or not. So yeah, based on that, like we have two offers now, right? Done for you or done with you. Like done for you with you is the
Hmm.
chat GPT thing. It is really really exciting. They're going to be sharing all the details about you. It's not that expensive, like done for you. So kind of very very affordable. So yeah, if someone is interested, they can simply schedule a call and then we can take it from there.
Awesome. Well, cool. Yeah. And I will have links to all that in the show notes. So y'all can just scroll on down in whatever app you're listening to this podcast in. But yeah, well, Vikrant, thank you so much for being my guest today and getting to chat. This was a really great conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. It was fun.